Hello and welcome to Pro Trader Strategies Market Commentary for Friday, January the 3rd. My name's Eric Wilkinson, and you very well may recognize me from mainstream media as the Wolfman. I'm here to talk about how the economic data impacts the markets, come up with market assumptions, and then implement options into our portfolio in order to take advantage of those assumptions. But please remember that past performance of any trading system or methodology is not necessarily indicative of future results. All right, having that out of the way, one would expect that the ISM number was pretty bad today based on what we're seeing up there in the crude oil markets, maybe even some things going on, but manufacturing PMI came in at 47.2. It is lower than expected at 49.0. We are more of a service sector economy. ISM is the Institute for Supply Management, so know that anything above 50 is expansion, anything below 50 is contraction in the economy. And we got the manufacturing ISM prices paid came in at 51.7, expected to be 47.7. So a little bit better than expected there, seeing some wage inflation, if you will. We also had a couple of things. Crude oil inventories coming out today. Not quite yet, but we've got this massive spike in crude oil, and that's because Qasemi Soleimani, I think is how you pronounce it. I probably butchered it anyway, but he was a general in Iran. Yes, was a general, and we had a drone attack on him in Iraq today. He has been destabilizing the region, if you will, and causing some problems, and Trump just ordered a drone attack on him, and he was killed at the Iraqi airport. So that is causing some turmoil in the overall markets, making crude oil spike about $2. You would think that in that region it might spike it any more, but think about it. Iran really isn't a global supplier, maybe to China, but not really part of OPEC necessarily. Maybe the impact on Iraq could cause something, but really I think that this is just a blip that shouldn't really affect overall supply of crude oil. And I think it's just a little bit overdone, to be quite honest. We are seeing the spike here, but you can see it's well off the highs of the day. Big key factor to look at is if it stays above that $63 a barrel. I'm hoping it rolls over, because that's not going to help the global economies, and manufacturing prices paid will definitely start to spike even more with something like that happening. Anyway, so gold is going to react based on that. Equities started falling off based on that initial news of the drone attack. So we're seeing gold futures up up $22 to $15.50 now, above that $15.33. We found that as resistance yesterday, but this news has really caused this to spike. And we're seeing gold futures start to really rally as people are moving their money into the more safe haven of that precious metal. Bonds are starting to spike here again, as well as we're seeing the levers and pulleys of the overall markets happening. We're also seeing the possibility of more non-QE happening here in the United States, but levers and pulleys of the markets are really reacting. VIX up a point back into the teens, but you can see well off of the highs after that initial information came out with the drone attack. Here we're seeing the Dow Jones Industrial Average off 233 points, but you can see it's a green candle there. That green candle is indicating we are up from where we opened. So we opened much lower. Market's really starting to digest what happened here. Irani people are actually celebrating that this general has been removed from the earth, and so the Middle East is actually quite possibly going to become more stable, depending on obviously who the next general comes in that place. But seeing the markets really start to shrug off that information. Here we have the NASDAQ off by about 71 points. This is a red candle because it takes into account the overnight trading. So the Dow Jones there doesn't show the overnight trading. That's why it's showing it's positive on the day. But you can see that the market has really started to come back. E-mini S&P, similar situation. We'll see this really show up in the 30-minute chart here in a second. But again, E-mini S&P starting to rally and all those markets trying to get back above that 9-day simple moving average. That is pretty important for a settlement. I'm not going to put on any trades today because I want to wait to see how this all shakes out. But you can see when the drone attack happened, we actually made new all-time highs in the overnight session. But as soon as word of that drone attack came out, you can see the market really fell off. And now starting to see a bounce into the day as institutional investors are looking to take advantage of some stocks that really got sold overnight and opened up a lot lower. McDonald's being one of them. I mean, McDonald's is not a key player in the Middle East by any stretch of the imagination, which it was down quite a bit today based on yesterday's trades. And Boeing being positive at one point in time during all of this, which is a little bit bizarre as well. So there's obviously opportunity out there. I'm pretty much happy with the way my position is. I was going to add in some Procter and Gamble today, but I think I might hold off just a little bit to see how this all shakes out. I'm going to be adding a poor man's covered call based on what we did in the webinar, but I'm kind of holding off right now, to be quite honest. So that being said, I'm going to sit on my hands today. Sometimes that's the best opportunity, to be quite honest, and see how this all shakes out. But keep your eyes on all of this stuff. More news to come out, and keep your eyes out for those crude oil inventories. That's going to be a key economic data point today, and it comes out in a few minutes anyway, probably before I get done with this. So that's about it. Hope you guys all have a great weekend, and if you can't take that,